October 1st, 1975. The Philippines. The air is thick with heat. Two warriors step into the ring for the third and final time. What happens next is unlike anything the sport has ever seen. 14 rounds of pure brutality. A fight so vicious that Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, would later say, "That was the closest thing to dying that I know." But what if I told you that Ali secretly regretted this fight? That despite his victory, he left the ring knowing he had gone too far? Welcome to Back to Boxing. This is the real story of the Thrilla in Manila, the fight that changed Ali and Frazier forever. To understand why the Thrilla in Manila became one of the most brutal fights in boxing history, we need to go back to the moment when Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier became enemies. Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali were not always enemies. In fact, when Ali was banned from boxing in 1967 for refusing to be drafted into the Vietnam War, Frazier supported him. While Ali struggled financially and legally, Frazier advocated for his return, lending him money and even urging the US government to reinstate his boxing license. At the time, Frazier was the heavyweight champion, but he still saw Ali as a worthy competitor who deserved to fight again. But once Ali was allowed back in the ring, everything changed. As soon as their fight was announced for March 8, 1971, at Madison Square Garden, Ali unleashed a relentless campaign of insults. He called Frazier a gorilla, a man who had grown up in deep poverty and worked hard for his success. Frazier was deeply hurt by these remarks. He had once considered Ali a friend, but now he felt betrayed. Ali, on the other hand, saw the insults as a psychological tactic to gain an edge. But for Frazier, it was personal. Their once cordial relationship turned into a fierce rivalry. Frazier resented the damage Ali's words did to his reputation, especially within the black community. The fight was billed as the fight of the century. For the first time in history, two undefeated heavyweight champions would face off. The world watched as these two bitter rivals stepped into the ring, celebrities, politicians, and fans from across the globe in attendance. Why? Because this wasn't just a boxing match, it was a battle of ideals. And when the fight began, Ali started strong, using his signature speed and footwork to outbox Frazier in the early rounds. But Frazier was relentless. He attacked Ali's body with brutal left hooks, slowing him down as the fight progressed. By the middle rounds, Ali was taking heavy punishment and Frazier began dominating the exchanges. Then, in the 15th and final round, Frazier landed a devastating left hook, sending Ali crashing to the canvas. It was the first official knockdown of Ali's career. Though Ali got up, it was too late. Frazier won. By unanimous decision, he successfully defended his heavyweight title. The fight took a serious toll on both men. Ali spent days in the hospital recovering, while Frazier was also hospitalized due to the fight's intensity. Ali waited 3 years for his revenge, but by 1974, everything had changed. Frazier wasn't champion anymore. George Foreman had destroyed him in just 2 rounds. And Ali? He was getting closer to another shot at the title. Beating Frazier once wasn't enough. He wanted to finish the rivalry once and for all. After reclaiming his title by shocking the world against Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle, he knew exactly who he wanted next: Frazier. And again, Ali started taunting Frazier relentlessly, calling him ugly, a gorilla, and even an Uncle Tom. Ali's words were sharp, cutting, and often cruel. Frazier didn't just want to win this fight, he wanted to destroy Ali. And Ali? He wanted to prove once and for all that he was the greatest. And so, the stage was set for one of the biggest fights in boxing history, Thrilla in Manila. The fight took place in Manila, the Philippines, in an arena packed with 25,000 screaming fans. From the very first bell, it was clear this wasn't going to be a technical, strategic match. No, this was a war. Frazier came out swinging, targeting Ali's body with relentless hooks. Ali, known for his speed and agility, relied on his jab and his ability to dance around the ring. But the heat? It was unbearable, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and both men were drenched in sweat within minutes. As the rounds went on, the pace didn't slow. Frazier kept coming forward, absorbing Ali's punches and firing back with his own. By round 6, Frazier had turned the fight into something ugly. His left hooks were landing with terrifying power. He was bullying Ali against the ropes, digging into his body, forcing him into a street fight. And slowly, Ali began to fade. By round 10, Ali looked exhausted. His punches lost their snap. He even whispered to his trainer, Angelo Dundee, "This is the closest thing to dying." But Frazier, he was still coming forward. He was blind in one eye, but he kept pressing forward like a man possessed. But here's the thing about Ali, he had an incredible will to win. Even when his body was breaking down, his mind kept pushing him forward. In the 13th round, he unleashed a flurry of punches that left Frazier barely able to see. Frazier's trainer, Eddie Futch, would later say that Joe's eyes were swollen shut. And then, in a moment that would go down in boxing history, Futch made the decision to stop the fight. Frazier begged to continue, but Futch knew his fighter had nothing left to give. Ali won by TKO, but he didn't celebrate. He collapsed in his corner, completely spent. After the fight, Ali collapsed in his dressing room. He couldn't move for 30 minutes. And years later, he admitted something shocking. He was about to quit. Ali later said, "Frazier quit just before I did." Ali called it the toughest fight of his life. He praised Frazier's courage and heart, but privately, he was haunted by what had happened. Years later, Ali would admit that he regretted the way he treated Frazier before the fight. The trash talk, the insults, it wasn't just a tactic. It was personal, and it crossed a line. The Thrilla in Manila wasn't just a fight. It was a war that left both men broken. Some say this fight accelerated Ali's Parkinson's disease. And Frazier, he never forgave Ali for the years of humiliation. Decades later, Frazier said, "I hit him with punches that would have brought down the walls of a city, and he's still talking." The fight ended, but the scars lasted forever. What do you think? Did Ali win the fight, or did he lose more than he gained? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe.